Good morning, Year 6. So, your lesson today, the next lesson that we are looking at today is to divide fractions. Again, this is something that we looked at before Christmas, but it's really important that we do recap this because this seems to be one of the things that when teaching fractions, people get a little bit confused with dividing fractions just because the operation we do looks like we do the inverse to the actual question, which can confuse a few people. So we will go over this because it is something that is important that we recap. Okay, so that's what we're looking at, to divide fractions. So if we have a look at this question, first of all, 1/3 divided by 4. So at this point it's important just to recap what divide means. It's split something equally. So we've got a third and we're going to split this third into 4 pieces. Okay, so imagine, for example, that you had a party and you've got a third of your cake left. 2/3 have been eaten and you've got just this third of your cake left. Imagine you've got this rectangular sized cake, 2/3 have been eaten, you've got a third left. Okay, and everyone is gone home except yourself and 3 friends. You've got 4 people left. Okay, so, and you want to split your remaining third of the cake. So you want to figure out how much each person would get of the original cake. So we would split into 4. Can you see what I've done there across? I've split 1, 2, 3, 4 across, and you can see I've split this cake up into 4. Now, to work out how much each of the 4 people would get of the original cake, how much of these they would get, the procedure that we do to work this out is we multiply the denominator by the whole number. We multiply instead of dividing, and I'll show you why in a moment. So if we have a look, 3 times 4 is 12, and this numerator will just stay the same as 1. So the reason why we got to a 12 is because the original cake has been split up now into 12, hasn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The original cake has been split up into 12, even though these 2/3 are missing. So this section here, that's how much each person is actually going to be eating of the third that is left. The third has been split up into 4. So procedurally, how we work that out, instead of having to draw this every time, is to multiply the denominator by the whole number. 3 times by 4 gets us to 12. The original cake has been split up into 12 pieces, and each person would get 1/12 of the original. That's why it's multiplying rather than dividing. Now, this seems to be one of the things that, like I mentioned at the start of this, that confuses people because they see a division and they want to start dividing numbers, but it's actually a multiplication that we do to find the procedure. And you can see drawing this proves it. So if we have a look at this one now, so the question is a quarter divided by 5. And you can see here similarly again, I have shaded in a quarter of my shape here. So you can see 1/4, that would be 2/4, 3/4 and 4/4 for the whole. Okay, I've just shaded in 1/4. And this 1/4 is going to be split between 5. Okay, 1/4 divided by 5 is going to be split into 5 equal pieces. And you can see across I've split 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So really we want to work out what this is here, don't we? What's one single piece of this would be. Now, this is 4 across, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5 down. And we know if we're trying to find the number of squares and shape, it's similar to calculating an area, this, isn't it? We do 5 times by 4. That's why it's a multiplication. 5 times by 4 is 20, and the numerator 1 stays the same. So the answer to this, a quarter divided by 5, is 1/20. Similar to the last one before, if this was a birthday cake and you had a quarter left, and you wanted to split that quarter between 5 people, how much of the original cake would each person be getting? They'd be getting 1/20th of the original cake, just this piece each. That'd go to a person. So with this, and this one, and this one, and this one, these are all the same amounts, aren't they? It'll be 1/20th. So if we have a look at this one now. Now this is the first time the numerator has not been a unit fraction. It's this, you can see here, this is just a normal proper fraction. It's not a unit fraction. So 3/7 divided by 5. And you can see here, this has been split up into 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I've shaded in 3 of them. That's representing the 3/7. Now that 3/7 is then going to be split equally 5 times. And that's why you can see it across here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, how many squares are there in this complete shape? That's how we work this out. We know that is 5 down here and 7 across. That's why we multiply. 7 times by 5 is 35. Now, what do we do with this numerator, remember? It stays exactly the same. It is still 3. Okay? Because this original 3/7 has been split 5 times, so this is how much each person would be getting. They'd be getting 3 of them because they've been split once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. 3/35 is the answer there. So let's have a go at doing a few of these without drawing those grids, because these grids represent it very, very clearly. I really like this model. However, it's quite time consuming, and if you just got a question like this, it would take quite a while to do that. Procedurally, it's much quicker just to do it, but it's understanding that you have that understanding of why we do that underneath that, because that's essentially what matters, isn't it? It's good to be able to do the procedures, but I could teach someone very young how to do that. It's important that we understand exactly how we do it. So let's have a go at 2/10 divided by 3. So could you have a go at that one for me, Year 6? You might have to pause the video, or if you're very confident, you could do it now as I'm talking, and then unpause it and see if you get the answer right. Okay, now remember what we do here procedurally. We multiply the denominator by the whole number. So we do 10 times by 3. 10 times by 3 is 30. And then the numerator comes over to 2/30. This, some people might have realised this can be simplified as well. We can use that method at halving, so we can't half anymore. Half of 2 is 1. Half of 30 is 15. Doesn't matter which one of these answers you got, they're both equivalent, they're both identical to each other. So 2/10 divided by 3 is 2/30, or 1/15. They're both identical. Right, let's go again and have a go at this one. So 4/6 divided by 4. So could you have a go at that one for me, please? Year 6. So again, remembering that when we are dividing the fraction, we do a multiplication of the denominator and the whole number. So 6 times by 4 is 24, and the numerator comes over to 4/24. If you got that as an answer, fantastic. You've got to the right answer. Let's see if we can simplify this still. We could use the halving method, although there's a quicker way that we can do this, isn't there? If we divide the numerator and the denominator by 4, 4 divided by 4 is 1, 24 divided by 4 is 6. So you can see there, both of these answers are the same. 4/24 and a 6 are both identical to each other. So we'll do 2 more before I let you loose to have a go at some of these yourself. So let's have 7/11 divided by, no, we won't do 4, we've done 4. Let's have a go at 5. So have we got that one for me, please, Year 6? So remembering that we multiply the denominator by the whole number. 11 times by 5 is 55, and then the numerator just comes over to go to 7. Can this answer be simplified if we have a look at this? Well, 7 is a prime number, and if we look at this as well, no numbers that go into 7 and 55, so this is actually in its simplest form. So we'll do one more, then year 6, and let's do 3 sevenths divided by 7. Should you have a go at that one for me? So 7 times by 7 is 49, and the numerator comes over to 3 over 49, which again cannot be simplified. I just going to keep the same question here. Now, just before we finish, just want to show you just a common mistake that I see with this. What mistake has been made there? If you have a look at this, what mistake has been made? So hopefully you've seen that the mistake that's been made, and it's the mistake I see most often, and I've seen it previously with other year 6 students, is they've seen that it's a division and they've tried to divide. They know they need to do something with the denominator and the whole number, but they've tried to divide, and you can see 7 divided by 7 is 1, and the numerator has stayed the same, but you can see how different that answer is. 3 over 1, which is equivalent to 3. See how different that answer is instead of doing that multiplication to get to that 49. It's really important that that's why we do the multiplication, just like all these previous ones we looked at on there. That's why we do the multiplication. If you go ahead and do the division, this is the answer you get to, okay? So remembering that with the division, you multiply the denominator by the whole number.